Well, good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. What is that? Oh, it's just shining weird. So today we're going to be trying out the brand new, well, I've been trying these out. So really it's a review, but I wanted to show you me applying them so you could see them. These are the Milani palettes. They're like all fingerprinty, but it's their Bold Obsessions palette, which is a, let's see, 12 pan palette. Absolutely gorgeous mix of mattes and shimmers. All of these pack such a punch and they blend so beautifully. And the other palette is their Most Loved Mattes. And again, 12 shadows. All of these are matte, however. Lots of warm tones. They've got some purples in there, some kind of reddish oranges. I love these. So these, every time I've showed them on my Snapchat, a lot of you guys are like, those look like Stila palettes. Or they look like high-end palettes. They do. There's no doubt about it. Now, they are all plastic, but it clasps shut. I mean, I've got no complaints. A big old mirror. No wasted space. No wasted space at all. And that I love. So these were $20 online when I bought them. I have heard from a lot of you guys that you can get them at Walmart for $15. So if I can find the link to Walmart's website for them for $15, of course I will put that below. And I can also link the Milani Cosmetics one as well. If I don't know, it might depend on where you live, like where things ship. I don't know. These are starting to pop up a lot in other stores though, which is exciting because it is a still pretty darn new release. I love, like, I kind of want them to just release like both of these together in one giant palette. No, Jessica, you don't need that. That's ridiculous. No, no, no. Anyway, because the second I do that, I buy it and be like, this is just like really big though. Like I can't travel with it. I can't make up my mind. I can't be happy. Anyway. So we're going to, I've already put on a primer today. I'm actually trying out the Catrice Prime and Fine Brightening eyeshadow base. So far I really like it. It's kind of like, it's a white color and a doe foot and you just blend it in and it really, I mean, I feel like it did brighten and cover really well. So that is what we're trying out underneath it. But what I always start with is, I'm going to start in the the Most Loved Mattes. I'm just going to grab like a matte cream shade and I'm just going to put that all over both the brow bone and lid, just everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. It kind of evens everything out. It makes sure that if your primer is sticky, at least for me, I like to have this first layer down. So that way when I'm putting things in the crease and it's like really important placement, that it doesn't end up getting stuck in some spots because it's still got little sticky spots all around. This kind of gets rid of and eliminates those sticky spots. So the next step I like to take is, again, in the matte one, this kind of like little bit darker beige. I mean, it's still pretty light. This is a step I do because of my skin tone. If you've got a deeper skin tone, you won't need this because, again, it's gonna be too light for you. But what I do is I take a shade a little bit deeper than my skin. So if you can find one in these palettes or really any palette. And I just put that in the crease, kind of going towards the brow bone, not all the way up there. But it's kind of another base just for my crease to help everything blend together. These shadows are so pretty. I can't believe these are drugstore. And you're gonna hear me say that a lot in this video, but I can't. And even at the $20 range, these are incredible. I could see any brand, like if this were a nameless brand, you'd never seen it before, they were sold at Sephora for $40 and you bought it, you would be completely satisfied at the $40 rate. And that's, I guess, what I'm saying. So even though I complain like, man, drugstore prices are creeping up, and they are, and it stinks because it's starting to price people out of brands that they used to be able to buy. You know what I mean? But that aside, when it's a product this good, I'm like, okay, I get it. But the problem is when drugstore brands are charging $15.99, $16.99 for a palette, that stinks. You know what I mean? So, okay, I love that. I feel like that, I mean, I could go out just like this with a little bit of liner and mascara and I would feel like that's still a really nice look. It's really simplified, but I like that. I have gone out like that. So my next step is to go in with a little bit deeper of a shade. So I'm gonna go with we're gonna go, gosh, I could do like all mattes and be totally happy. They're all so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna stick in the matte shade one. I'm gonna take this third one down here, kind of a brown color, medium brown. And I'm gonna try to keep that hug it a little tighter to the crease and a little bit in the outer corner. These blend together so well. I mean, do you see the color going on just with such ease? they remind me of Vizart shadows, and that's crazy, or Vizart, because those are like so much more expensive, so much more. These do kick up a little bit of powder, but nothing crazy. I mean, you know, there are some palettes out there that are pressed more like pressed pigments, and those kick up a lot. This kicks up a little bit, but not like other brands I've tried, that's for sure. So I've pretty much got the base of my look down. This is my everyday look, guys. I really don't switch it up often unless I'm trying a little bit of color or something, but like the order and pattern of everything is pretty much always the same. So I'm gonna go in with this kind of like burnt, I don't even know what to call it, kind of a reddish tone, but it's a little bit more muted, and I'm using a more detailed brush. This is the e.l.f. crease brush, and I'm just gonna put that kind of more in the outer corner and the outer crease. Gives a little bit of definition. I went a little high on the other side, so now I feel like I need to even it out. You guys know I'm not a makeup artist. You know this look isn't gonna be perfect, right? So, again, so now I'm just using, you know, a brush I just cleaned off, just wiped off, to blend everything, because I like a super blended look when I can get it. And these shadows really lend themselves well to blending, like I've said 3 times. So, again, this would be enough, but I wanted to use a shimmer so you could just see what that looks like, and they have some beautiful options in here. This is great if you're like, I don't want to buy both, Jess, and I know I like shimmer and matte. If you know you like just mattes, then go for the matte one because it's amazing, and I just did this whole look with that. But if you know you like a mix, then I would say just get this one because it still has the medium brown, the light brown, dark brown, a black, a red, but it also has these shimmer colors as well. So it's a really good mix. I think they did a good job. This actually reminds me a lot of that one palette. I'll pull it out in a second. It reminds me a lot of it, and it's a way more expensive one. All right, so I think with this look, I'm gonna go for this like kind of orangey shimmer. And I'm just gonna use my finger. Now, if I had put a like vivid white primer underneath this, it makes this pop even more. But for the sake of this video, I wanted you to just see how it looks on just normal primers. This is the primer I use is still a brightening primer, but it's not like the NYX little pot of white primer. I can link below. That is my favorite thing, to tap onto the lid and then tap a shimmer like that on top, and it's like out of this world. So I like to still kind of blend it, soften the look just a bit. These are all so pretty. Now you could have also used a light shade, which is something I do honestly most days when I'm going to work. I do the same thing, but instead of like this orange, I might use like the champagne color or the gold. And it looks really pretty that way too. I just figured, I don't know. I feel like the oranges look nice with this green. Maybe I'm crazy. So here's what I will say about these. Mattes, spectacular. Shimmers, gorgeous. But when you do it without see, I already have a little fallout to clean up. There's a little bit of fallout, usually just in this outer region, and it's usually nothing I can't get rid of just by doing that, which is nice. But these shimmers, they're not going to look like Va Va Voom, like Urban Decay status, unless you put that thick, sticky white primer. Let me show you my favorite. This is the best one I found, and it's like $5, $8, I don't know. It's under $10. The NYX eyeshadow base. It's in white. It lasts forever, and you just get a tiny bit and tap it on, and you can kind of see that the shimmer, it's like there's a strip of the shimmer that kind of stayed, and then above it, it kind of blended out. You don't have to blend it the way I do because it'll stay a little bit more. Like if I wanted to pile a little more on, I can, you know, and I can just leave it be. But just be aware that you really can get it to pack even more of a punch. I still think that's nice though. Am I making any sense? Am I being redundant? Probably. That's kind of my 2 cents on the shimmers. They're absolutely gorgeous, and let me swatch the other few shimmers so you can really see. Ooh. Oh my gosh, these are ridiculous. Look at that. Little bit of powder. Oh my gosh. And let me just swatch the orange so you can see what it looks like just swatched. Aren't these stupid gorgeous? So like I said, use a really good primer and they're gonna look like that. Otherwise, they're gonna blend a little bit of fallout will come, and it'll still look nice like what I've used, but it'll look better. So the next step is brow bone. So again, I'm gonna go back to the mattes just because this might be my favorite out of the 2 palettes, but they're so good. And I'm just gonna get the matte cream shade I started with and put it on my brow bone just to kind of clean that up just a tinge. This is another e.l.f. brush. I use so many e.l.f. brushes. It's part of their like beautifully, it says it's their 201. I love this thing for my brow bone. Anytime it's like really dirty, I'm like, oh, dang it. I'm like, what do I use? It's my favorite. I've had it for like years. If you haven't seen, I recently did an e.l.f. best and worst video. I will link below if you're curious in watching it, where it's like a ton of products of the best things they offer that I've tried over the years, because there's so many favorites of mine that are from e.l.f. and it's really, really cheap. Okay, so the last thing I typically will do is I will sometimes darken the outer corner a bit more. I think I'm good for today, but I could go back in with the shade I already had, but I'm gonna use that same outer corner shade and just kind of do my lower lash line. So I'm gonna get a really kind of smaller brush, whatever your cup of tea is, and I'm just gonna kind of start on the outer corner, get it to match with that, and then kind of move it in. And sometimes I'll take it and kind of flick it up just a bit. If I'm noticing, hey, you know what, it's not as dark as it was, like I said, you can throw a little bit more of it just kind of up there to make it flow together a little bit more. And then if there's any fallout, I do that just in case. Even with high-end palettes, I have fallout, so that's not really a fault of these palettes. Now, one thing I do like doing, and I'm just gonna show, again, for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna go back into the Bold Obsessions palette with the shimmers, and I'm gonna get a little of this crazy white shimmer, this one here, and I'm gonna throw that on the brow bone. But what I like to do, a little trick, if you like the shimmer but you don't want it to be like so ridiculously shimmer right on your brow bone, I'll get the shimmer and then I'll dip into like a matte color, blow a little bit off, or tap it off if you're grossed out by blowing. Then when I put it on, it still has a sheen to it, but it's not as stark as it would have been if you just went into that shimmer. I love doing this. Sometimes I'll just use whatever face highlight I'm using to do the same thing, but I always take my fluffy brush afterwards and just kind of blend it very, very lightly, so that way it's not in my brows anymore. It's not, you know, just blends a little bit better into the rest of the shadow look. So I'm gonna line my eyes. I just started really, really quickly, and either throw mascara or lashes on, I don't know. I hate putting on lashes because they take 1,000 years, but I am gonna be filming a lot today and they look better in videos. We'll see what I end up with, and then I will check back in, show you the final look, and we'll talk through, you know, the pros and cons of these palettes. So I did end up putting some lashes on. I put on the Ardell Natural 110. So it's their natural line, and it's the 110 one, and this is just a multi-pack. I don't remember if I bought these or they sent them to me, because I have bought a lot of multi-packs, because these lashes are cheap compared to other expensive lashes. And for me, I'm not a lash snob, like I'm not very good at them, and these are so easy to put on. The band is really thin, so it doesn't give you that fake like black line look, if that makes any sense. And these really are more natural, and yet they're still like lengthening. So I'm digging these. And then on my lips, if you were just curious, I just put on the Pixie Matte Last Liquid Lip in Pastel Petals. So I'll link those below, but all in all, pros and cons of these palettes. Pros, the packaging is beautiful. They blend really well. They're really pigmented. Depending on which one you get, you know, a really nice range of matte shades versus a really nice mix of shimmer and matte. And they're like wearable colors. And yet there are still those little pops if you want to get creative. They stay on all day. I can't say enough good stuff about it, honestly. Cons, the only thing I can think of is maybe the price point. Because of course, if you're wanting to spend $5 on a palette, well, that's not gonna be these. But if you're like, you know what, I don't want to buy crazy expensive high-end palettes, but I want something nicer than everything else I've tried at the drugstore, these are them. These are my favorite drugstore palettes I've ever tried. Ever. Ever. In the years I've been doing YouTube, ever. So I'm so excited that these are a part of my life. I'm going to be recommending them like crazy. It might get annoying, but they're so, so good. So other than that, oh, maybe another con is that it shows fingerprints. I don't know. I mean, it does kind of drive me nuts, but not enough that I would really, really consider it a con, you know? But other than that, if you enjoyed this kind of a video, maybe more like product spotlight, I feel like I do a lot of videos of like tons of products, which I enjoy watching because I get to learn about a lot all in 10 minutes or so. But if you enjoy these, you know, kind of product spotlight kind of videos, let me know, because I don't do them very often anymore, but I do enjoy doing them. So let me know if you're interested in those and if there are any specific new products out there, especially drugstore, that you are curious about. And other than that, I hope you'll subscribe and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.